So, the first chapel speech of the decade. Not scary at all. Just kidding, it's horrifying up here. I remember sitting in this chapel last year, listening to all grade 12 students giving their chapel speeches, and thinking that I would never be brave enough to go up here and talk in front of that many people. But hey, I'm standing here right now, giving my speech. The truth is that when you speak from your heart, the number of people listening to you doesn't matter anymore. You're not afraid to fail, it's just not scary anymore. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Daria Mitrakova, and today I want to talk to you about failures. I think failing is what makes us who we are. The way we choose to handle our failures suggests a lot about our personalities. The tricky thing about failing is that it is not that harmful unless you think of it this way. I think a lot of us forget that it is totally okay to fail while we're trying to follow the standard of being a perfect student, athlete, child, or friend. To be completely honest, failure is what brought me here today, and is the fundamental reason for me giving this speech. Some of you may know that I used to be a figure skater. I started when I was 5, and it's been the most significant part of my life up to when I was 15. It was my dream, my escape from reality, and everything I loved. I remember going to bed feeling soreness in my muscles and pain from the bruises on my legs, but I absolutely loved this feeling and could not imagine living without it. I was even ready to give up my education to spend more time on the ice. That's how much I loved figure skating. When I was enjoying what I did the most, I got injured. Bad warm-up, fall from the split lift, and as a result, muscle tear. Painful? Yes. Upsetting? Oh yeah. I guess it's true what they say, nothing lasts forever. But that's not what I want to focus on today. The main point is that I failed. And even though it might seem like a very sad story, this was the most crucial lesson in my life that made me who I am right now. And I wanted to share it with you today. After the pain was gone, or maybe I got used to it, I started to reflect on my failure. The first step was to realize what failing really was and what led to it. I thought that I failed because I wasn't good enough, or I did something wrong, or maybe it was just bad luck. But the truth is, I tore my muscle because I wasn't afraid to try a new element on the ice. It's tricky. We never think that failure takes a lot of courage, but in reality, it does. You see, when you do what you have already done 1,000 times and feel confident about, it is very unlikely for you to fail, and it is very easy for you to succeed. But can you really call it a success? My coach always told me that it is better to fall trying than to stay standing not trying. But trying new things is not the only courageous part about failing. Usually, it's not the failure we're afraid of, but hearing people criticizing us for failure. Every time I did something wrong on the ice, I was scared that my coach would notice it and kick me out from practice. But then I realized that her telling me I did something wrong was actually the biggest compliment for me. It meant that she was interested in me becoming better and correcting my mistakes, not that she wanted to insult me or make me feel bad about myself. The worst thing for me was to hear nothing from my coach, or that everything was okay. Not hearing critique in my dress simply gave me no room for growth. So yes, it does take a lot of courage to fail, even though it sounds ridiculous. The second step of my reflection was the hardest one, to be honest. I had to admit that my failure was on me and no one else. I have to confess, it was very tempting to blame my injury on my coach, my figure skating partner, or my parents. I was mad at my coach for not giving me a proper warm-up, my partner for dropping me from the lift, and my parents for taking me to the ice rink when I was 5 and deciding that I should do figure skating. I was full of anger. But then anger changed to the feeling of shame. I came to realize that I was the only one to blame, and the only one I could be mad at. I could have said something about the warm-up, or do it on my own. I could have practiced the lift on the floor before trying it on the ice. And of course, if I didn't want to do figure skating, I could have told my parents about it. But that wasn't the case. The point is, I didn't do any of these things because it was easier to stay quiet and blame my failure on everyone else. It was hard for me to admit that I failed, but it was even harder to admit that I was the reason for failing. But trust me, no matter how hard it is, it's totally worth it. It's the only way to fix your mistakes and become better. The last step of my reflection on what happened was to find a way for me to get over my failure. I wasn't doing too good. I didn't want to see my friends, didn't want to leave my room, And given that I didn't have Netflix, you can imagine the struggle. At first, I didn't want to do anything. I thought that all my problems would resolve themselves. Then, I started dreaming about getting back on the ice. I didn't want to go through proper rehabilitation and didn't want to wait anymore. Of course, nothing good happened. Long story short, I tore my muscle again. How lucky, right? Well, the ugly truth was that my figure skating career was over. But the important thing was not to give up. There is no easy way to recover from failure, no matter how bad it was. It requires a lot of time, patience, and most importantly, desire. If your desire to become better and get back on track is not strong enough, most likely you won't get over your setback. My coach always told me that there is nothing you cannot do. There are just some things you don't want bad enough. So that's what pushed me. I wanted not only to recover, I wanted to become a better version of myself every day. Whether it was the number of pages I read a day, the weight I set on the leg press machine, or the amount of attention I give to my friends. Yes, it does take a lot of time, patience, and consistent work. But that's just something you have to expect if you want to get over your failure. Don't expect it to be easy. I have to be honest, I failed a lot. I failed to become an Olympian athlete, obviously, failed to be a good friend sometimes, and failed to be a perfect daughter for my parents at some point. But because I once failed, I found my true passion in fitness, became even closer with my friends, and understood that my parents are the only ones who will love me even when I'm at my lowest. So, if I didn't quit figure skating, I wouldn't be standing here right now, giving this speech in front of my amazing friends, my wonderful parents, and the best advisor I could ever ask for. Hi, Zook. The truth is, we're all going to fail at some point. But so what? In fact, I encourage you to fail. It makes your life so much more interesting, makes you so much more likely to succeed and grow as a person. I encourage you to try and overcome your fear of failure. Apply to the best university you can think of. Aim to become an Olympian athlete. Try to get on the stage of Bolshoi Theater. Whatever it is that you're doing, set your goals as high as possible. And if you fail, come down, reassess your actions, and keep pushing. I could say that your destiny is already predetermined, and whatever happens, happens for a reason. But I don't believe in destiny. I believe in hard work. If you want to get a better mark than you did in your previous test, work for it. If you want to run the race faster than you did last time, work for it. Remember, failure is only a step on your way to success. Learn from failures, work hard, and you will achieve your goal. There is no possible way to succeed without failing. Accept that, and prepare yourself for setbacks on your way to the stars. Trust me, you will reach them eventually, no matter how long it will take or how hard it will be. Believe in yourself, support each other, and become better every day. So, for all the senior ones, I know everybody told you that this is going to be the hardest year of school. Honestly, it's not if you're not afraid to fail. Senior twos, we still have plenty of room for failures. But please don't fail to finish Duke of Ed or graduate in general. Life is going to give you lots of opportunities. Don't be afraid to take them. And most importantly, be brave enough to fail, be smart enough to admit failure, and be strong enough to get over your failure. Now will you please rise and sing hymn 575?